Welcome to the show with my friends.
They took your favorite game and made a movie so bad you had to spew. What's a nerd to do? Well, listen to 8-Bit Movie Review with Josh and Andrew. It's 8-Bit Movie Review.
Welcome back, gamers. This is Andrew Gonzalez.
And I'm Josh Hedgington.
This is 8-Bit Movie Review, son. And this is part of our The Path to War miniseries, where we're discussing, you know what? I fucked up the flow because I was too focused on what we're doing because I'm excited, Josh. But for newcomers, this is the podcast where we discuss movies, series, and all things video games.
Emphasis on come.
Come, baby. And
Newcomers.
we're doing a special mini series, The Path to War, to build up to our discussion of God of War Ragnarok.
Which comes out
Oh,
in 5 days.
Fucking soon. I'm so excited. But before we talk about how excited we are, there's somebody here with us today, Josh.
Yeah, Arya is here. She's laying on the floor.
The third podcast member of
Yep.
the show.
Woof, woof.
That's what she sounds like. She sounds like a man.
If you listen to the show regularly, you've probably heard his name a couple times. We call him Daddy Dave Reardon. He's made a couple of requests for our song episodes, which, you know, I gotta say, man, that Rector's cut of Resident Evil with the basement song, that really threw me off. I did
He's
not
like,
like
oh,
it.
this is going to be a good one from Dave. And it's just like, oh, no, he picked the original Resident Evil, so he's trolling the shit.
Oh yeah, because usually your suggestions are really good, and then I'm like, I put it in, and it's like, brr, brr.
That song is just notoriously bad.
Yeah.
But thanks for coming on the show, Dave. You know, we asked you to come on the show because, you know, today we are discussing the movie WarCraft, and I'm not that familiar with the franchise. Josh seems to know a good amount, but
Yes.
I didn't know. Like, Josh and I talked about it briefly, and we're like, we think Dave is familiar with Warcraft. I almost keep saying World of Warcraft.
Yeah, it's not World of Warcraft.
But you are actually a pretty avid fan of the franchise.
Yeah, I've been playing it since when I was a kid. I played Tides of Darkness for on repeat for years.
Oh, yeah.
And played a bit of Warcraft 1.
Righto.
After that, and played through the series Warcraft 3 and World of Warcraft for a few years, and stopped playing World of Warcraft up until they re-released Classic a few years ago, and I played through that, and I'm really into the lore and in the game. Yeah.
Well, I was talking to your wife, and she said something about you used to be one of the top players of Warcraft.
No, I doubt it.
Well, for I think for a week in one of the raids, I was the number 5 priest. But that didn't last. But
that's quite an accomplishment.
Yeah.
I would think. I don't play these games.
I think it's also probably based on like, hey, the level cap went up. It just went up after all this time. It's like, well, I hit level 80. It's like you did it maybe within the first 5 people to do it, but there's going to be a lot more people to do it. Just give it time.
Well, it was after the level cap, and when you're doing the end game dungeons, and it tracks your stats, and it was the number 5 priest for healing, which is usually people don't try to boast about their healing stats. It's about the damage.
Yeah,
but
priests are
pussies. Yeah.
it was fun.
although they are, you have to
And
have
problematic,
priests when
too.
you
Priests
do
are very
those dungeon
problematic,
runs,
So.
But
Their
yeah, I mean,
weaknesses are little boys. That's what I hear.
Yeah. Oh wow. Yeah, especially in Warcraft, that's actually like side quests.
Yeah.
Touching children.
Hunting out little boys.
That's how you gain experience. Yeah, I mean, I also Warcraft 2 Tides of Darkness, literally the first PC game we ever installed. We had a computer that had some games on it, but it was one of those that started in like DOS. So it's like either go to Windows 3.1 or go to the game section where it was like off-brand Pac-Man. It's like Circle Boy or fucking Snood or
Circle Boy?
off-brand Pac-Man.
Is that a thing?
It was probably called something like that.
Okay.
Jesus Christ. I want to play Circle Boy.
Yeah, where can I get that?
Pellet eating man.
it on iOS?
Sure. Just hold your breath while you're looking for it. And then the shining achievement on that old computer was I had the first episode of the original Warcraft, Wolfenstein 3D, and killing Nazis was great.
Nancy boys.
And then when we got like the next shitty computer, that had a CD drive, we're like, now we're in the future. Now it's time to get Warcraft 2 Tides of Darkness. And that was probably the one I played the most. Warcraft 3, definitely a lot more. They went way more into the RPG like aspect of it, focusing more on characters and building them up as opposed to just, build up your clans, finish this map, and just keep doing that kind of thing. But yeah, Warcraft 2 played the shit out of that.
See,
but most of the lore I know is it's from Hearthstone because I've been playing that for like 8 years.
I watched friends play World of War. I keep saying it. Warcraft 2, and then when 3 came out, my parents, because I was going to school and high school for graphic design, got me a refurbished old Mac, thinking like it could, play a lot of things and do a lot of things on it. And the guy at the computer store, when there was like,
When there was computer
stores, told me that that Warcraft 3 can be played on it. So we got it. It wouldn't play on my computer. We went to return it. The computer store was closed down
because that guy lied to everyone.
We came back and it was just a vacant lot.
Yeah. It's like that thing where it's like, a mystery vendor sold me these magic beans, and you turn around, it's like, sir, I want a refund. He disappeared.
There's just an old man there being like, computer store.
There's 20 kids out there with shitty computers in Warcraft 3 like, why isn't this working?
I can't get it to work.
There hasn't been a store here in 20 years. Now, before we get, further into this, and I'm going to make this part, because I just want to play this song, and we're going to make it part of this and everything like that, but we're going to go, we haven't done it in a bit, Josh, but we're going to get into the gaming zone, baby.
Oh, boy. This is not the song from Top Gun. Not the song from Top Gun, no.
Now, the gaming zone is where we discuss what we're playing or what games we're into this week.
I'll go first. Nothing. I haven't played a video game in a month, and that is all.
I knew you
for
were
like
gonna...
2 weeks, 3 weeks. It was like I just didn't really feel like playing it. I play like some mobile games or whatever, but then like now it's intentional because it's just like God of War Ragnarok comes out next Wednesday. I've already pre-ordered it, loaded it, it's downloaded. And now every day when I turn on my PS5, I just check the clock because it has remaining time, and I'm just like, and I'm even doing that thing because the game was given to people to do reviews like a week and a half, 2 weeks early.
Oh yeah,
which means that people are going to fucking spoil shit and post scenes on YouTube. I'm finding myself doing the same shit I do for like a Marvel movie I'm like looking forward to, or some other movie where I'm like, can't go on YouTube anymore. Just can't do it.
Yeah.
Won't do it.
And I've seen some articles already of people just and luckily the articles I've read have no spoilers, but just say it's 10 times better than the other game, which they've even said doesn't take away from the other game, but the gameplay in general is like greatly increased. And real quick, I want to say if you're listening to this episode, it's obviously been released a few weeks after Ragnarok has been released. But as of record, this will be coming out next week.
5 days.
5 days.
Yep. Next week's episode that's going to release is our God of War 2018 review and discussion. And then the following week is this episode.
Yes.
So 2 weeks from now is when,
And Dave, first I want to ask, have you been playing any particular games? As a father, I know it's, really hard for you to get into...
He's been playing the game of life.
Playing games and stuff like that, but is there anything recently you've been playing?
Yeah, like patty cake and hopscotch and
nice
that kind of stuff. Slides.
Oh, I
damn,
crush
dude.
it. Slides, man.
Fucking goat level shit.
When I get time, when the kids go to bed, lying on the couch with the Switch, I've been playing Dwarf Romantic, which is it's a weird name, but it's just like it's kind of like Carsacone, where you have these little hex tiles and you got to match up like the forest to the forest and the house to the house, and you make this big landscape of different biomes. You get points and then you run out of tiles and a high score. And Since you guys asked me to be on the show and I've been looking into some of the Warcraft lore, I got back into World of Warcraft. I've been playing that the past few days. The Wrath of the Lich King. I'm behind, but I'll catch up and, whatever, it's fun. And the third RimWorld expansion, Biotech, I played a bit of that. That's good. I like RimWorld a lot.
How many expansions do they have at this point?
3.
3?
Mm-hmm.
I was actually gonna expect a little bit more out of that.
Are you talking about RimWorld or Warcraft?
Oh, they're both different things.
Yes.
Yeah, he wasn't talking.
Never
None of what he said was
mind.
Warcraft, other
Okay,
than
I
like
thought he said World
I don't know,
of
there's-
Warcraft.
he said he
Oh.
played a little bit of World of Warcraft, but then he's also been playing
There's-
another game.
There's a lot of World of Warcraft. In the current
A lot.
one, I have no idea what they're up to, but in the classic, where they re-released the original Warcraft 3 years ago, now they're up to the 3rd expansion. So
Yeah,
That's
that's
what
what
I was
Charlie
playing.
plays. Charlie,
Yeah.
Matt Biondo.
Oh yeah.
I think a recent expansion just came out, like
yeah,
another one.
that's the 3rd
Is that
Wrath of the Lich King.
Yeah. Actually, that's funny because in Hearthstone, the Wrath of the Lich King expansion, they just came out with it again. Like that was something they did years ago, and now, all the
Yeah,
Death
I
Knight
remember
cards
that.
are coming back, and all this stuff. So yeah, I guess they just kind of timed that around.
I used to play a lot of Hearthstone too. I like that game.
Yeah,
I think you suggested a song from Hearthstone.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
know
Two
that
rogues,
was,
one something.
One cup.
Two rogues, one cup. Yeah, that's what it's called.
As for my gaming, I did pick up Cyberpunk again, but it's kind of like what Josh said. Like, I'm really into it, but at the same time, it's like I'm putting all this effort in when I know for the next couple months I'm going to be putting this, or couple weeks, I'm going to be putting it down and
I'm gonna have
playing
God of War
War.
Ragnarok beat in probably 5 days.
Yeah.
Because I already have Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday off, and I just confirmed with Charlie. He's like, so Wednesday, Thursday, you're going to be here all day and we're going to play it together? Because he's going to have a TV and a PlayStation
Yeah,
5
you
set
told
up.
me about
I'm going to
that.
have a TV and a place.
Nice.
Joe D's like, can I call out of work
Yeah,
and
you
come
told me
over?
about
And
it.
I was like, yes.
I'm bringing the kids.
They can go play. We'll put them in the room with the other kids.
I'm trying to decide if I want to try to platinum. Well, we do have to review it, so it'll probably take a while. So I'll probably mainly just try to get as much done as I can, and then maybe try to platinum it afterwards. But I want to platinum this game. That's my goal. Like I platinum God of War 2018 is probably the only game I've platinum so far, and I want to try to do it for this one. But it'll probably
see.
be very time
So-
consuming.
Yeah, we'll see.
Don't get mad at me, but I tried playing that God of War.
I was just gonna
the
ask
last
it.
one. And I
Get
played
the
it for
fuck
about
outta
10
here.
hours, and then I didn't really like it.
Well,
So
that's
it felt the combat felt a bit repetitive, and I don't know, I felt like I was just fighting bugs all the time. I don't know, maybe I
That was
should
like
give it
that
another
level.
shot. Yeah.
but
Yeah, towards the beginning, you really start with
It's
no
button mashing and-
differentiating moves, and you do have to kind of just unlock the stuff to start to get a little bit of like a remix of the combat. So I can see that,
Yeah.
but fuck you for saying it.
But I've never really been into that series
Yeah, no,
though
that's
either.
fine.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
I didn't
that's
play
underst-
any of the other ones, and
it is good to hear a different opinion on it,
yeah.
even
Even
though
if
I'm,
it's
like,
wrong,
angry
yeah.
at you. But
They're really,
Yeah,
really
I-
fucking mad right
I don't
now.
know why we asked you to be on
Yeah,
the show, but it's fine.
It's not coming back for the.
But
rest.
I see that, but then there is a point in the game, like if you've gone further, that you're like, maybe I should be using all these fucking combos and shit in a certain aspect, like, because you go from kicking ass and then all of a sudden it's like everyone's twice as hard. Like I think it's like you go to a different realm and all of a sudden it's like everyone's ridiculously hard.
Yeah, I think especially when you go to Alfheim for the first time, those
Yeah.
fucking asshole bug guys flying around.
Yep.
Yeah.
Those dudes are just pain in the ass.
And then you learn later you really got to focus on the perks of the armor, which Josh taught me, and like it makes the gameplay a lot easier if you do that. But
I think
people
it's
are really-
I think it's the game that has the greatest companion out of any game I've ever played. The companion in God of War 2018 is the best companion I've ever played in a game. Like Atreus he doesn't get in the way. He's incredibly useful. Eventually he does stuff. Like at the beginning of the game, he's like, I'm a little bitch boy, and he doesn't do anything. I'm scared.
Hold on, Arya, stop licking yourself.
Licking your blush pad over there. Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
Nah, she's licking her leg.
Oh.
Well, Did you find it? Was it more you found it kind of boring? Because I will say, the first time I played it was hard, and then I played Elden Ring, and the game became a lot easier. Now you're a Souls player.
No, not
Not
really.
really?
I
thought you
played Elden
Soul-
Ring and I liked it a lot. I played all of the Souls game, but I think Elden Ring is the only one I've beaten.
Oh, okay, but still, you're familiar with that type of combat.
Yeah.
You know, you're fairly good at that. Where I think if you go to, like I said, I played Elden Ring and I came back and I fucking crushed that game.
Yeah.
It was like I came in at like Elden Ring kind of totally changed my way of playing like video games.
Yeah, you cannot go in and just like with God of War. You can just go in and fucking aggro every single enemy, and for the most part you'll be fine. You might die a couple times. Elden Ring, it's like you can't do that. You have to not just be button mashing, because doing that is just you're just gonna get killed. You have to be like that dodge, hit. Oh, I hit him enough. Now he's gonna be either more aggressive or go into a second phase with all new moves and.
Right. Once you hit a button in Elden Ring, you're committing to like a
Oh, yeah.
second like attack.
They definitely made
something.
it so you can't like mash in that,
Right.
and you definitely get fucked.
Which I liked Elden Ring a lot. I played it a lot, but after I beat it, I wasn't like, fuck, I gotta play this game a bunch more times. I
Yeah.
just put it down and I haven't touched it since. And
Same.
if the
I did
DLC
both,
comes
so-
out, I don't even know if I'm gonna go back and play
I'll
it.
go back. I'm looking forward to it,
Yeah, I'll play it again.
and maybe you can come on to our second discussion when we
Because
discuss
I
the
won't be
DLC.
there. Yay!
Josh, we wanted to talk about real quick before we get into the discussion of this movie. Speculations of Ragnarok. Did you
Oh,
want to
did
do?
we?
You
Oh.
texted me that the other day.
No,
didn't
I was
know.
just texting you because I thought of it.
Oh, okay. We don't have
Yeah,
to do.
no, I mean, hey, I'll put it out there into the internet. My idea, what I told you is I think that the beginning of the game, Thor is gonna be kicking the shit out of Kratos, and then Kratos is gonna go Spartan Rage mode, and pick up Mjolnir and crush Thor's head with it. That's what I think is gonna happen.
And I think it's going to be opposite,
Opposite.
where I think Atreus is going to somehow stop Thor, or something like that. That's my theory.
Atreus still a little bitch in this one. Oh, my balls dropped.
Well, Josh, I think we went over everything that we needed to. That was not part of what we're going to discuss, but
Had nothing to do with
nothing,
Gaming Zone.
nothing. But we're here to discuss 2016's WarCraft.
Don't say World.
I
You
almost did.
you
Almost
paused
did.
like you were going to say World of Warcraft.
I almost did.
Maybe the sequel will be called World of Warcraft.
Josh, you want to hit us up with a summary?
Oh, the summary. Yes. A summary or the summary?
The summary
Okay.
of all summaries.
Looking to escape from his dying world, the orc shaman Gul'dan utilizes dark magic to open a portal to the human realm of Azeroth. Supported by the fierce fighter Blackhand, Gul'dan organizes the orc clans into a conquering army called the Horde.
I'm going to add music to this. Go ahead.
You done?
Yes.
Uniting to protect Azeroth from these hulking invaders are King Lalalain, the mighty warrior Anduin Lothar, and the powerful wizard Medivh. As the two races collide, leaders from each side start to question if Warcraft is the only answer.
He said it.
He said the movie.
The movie was released June 10th, 2016. Directed by Duncan Jones, the son of David Bowie.
That's so weird.
I know, right? Music composed by, you can say the name. I will let you.
Ramin Djawadi,
Ramin.
the composer of Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon,
Oh, I didn't know
In
that.
Westworld.
and Westworld.
Yeah.
The music was
Basically
good.
HBO composer. Yeah.
The box office. Well, the budget was 160 million. Josh, what was the box office?
439 million, which is weird because you said that Blizzard looked at this
Well,
as a failure.
Yeah, that's
Look
what I'm
at
confused
the
about.
domestic box office.
oh, domestic.
That's what's
So
interesting.
that's worldwide.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
but I think they made most of their money in China.
That makes
Yeah, that's
but, like,
where
I don't think it broke 80 million in the States.
it's still the top grossing video game movie adaptation, number one.
Yeah,
I
they
thought
still
it
go.
got
They go by worldwide though.
Okay.
I thought I'd get dethroned, but I guess not. I think Uncharted is the top for domestic,
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
which
It only made 47 million in the U.S.
really
10% of its worldwide was made in the U.S.
Jeez.
89.2% was made elsewhere.
And that's crazy because honestly, I did hear a lot of bad things about this movie, but I gotta say, guys, I liked it.
Yeah, I liked it too.
I liked it. I had a couple little issues, but other than that, I kept forgetting to take notes because I
Was I
was
supposed to?
I don't.
No,
I didn't
but-
take notes either.
well. I like to try to take notes, but like it didn't captivate me. I wasn't like this fucking movie. Like
The only thing that took me out of it was Peacock closing 9 times in the 2 hours this movie was playing. That's the only thing that took me out of it.
Well, it's weird because, like, especially the orcs, you couldn't really understand a lot of the shit they were saying or names or anything like that. So typically I'll put subtitles on, and I was trying to watch this on, my Amazon Fire TV, and Kat was taking a little cat nap, and she said it was too loud. So I was like, fine, I'll watch it on the PS4 and a PS5 and put my headphones on. And I put Peacock on the PS5, no subtitles. They don't give you that option.
There's subtitles on Peacock.
Huh?
I had subtitles and I watched it on Peacock.
Not on PS5.
Yes, on PS5.
I tried to put subtitles and it said none.
I just watched it on PS5 and I had subtitles the whole time.
What the fuck? Because on
Wait, do you have the one with ads or no ads?
Ads.
So it was a free thing.
But
You have to
the
pay
one
for
on my
subtitles.
Amazon
maybe that's
Fire
a feature,
TV
yeah.
on my Amazon Fire TV it had subtitles, but on PS5 it didn't.
I rented it on YouTube and it did have subtitles. I watch all my movies with
Brag.
subtitles.
Yeah, I mean,
It was
Same.
$5.
yeah, that's not bad. Usually I rent a movie for like $3 on
Yeah,
Amazon
I almost rented it, but then they just did all the commercials at the beginning, so there was none for the rest.
I prefer that. I'll take
Yeah.
like 90 seconds of commercials if
Yeah,
I
you
don't
go
have to worry
Take
about
Yeah.
the
a
rest
pee
of the
out of
movie.
your cock.
Yeah, put. Ooh.
Wow.
I'm trying to circle.
Yeah. David Reardon is filmed in front of a live studio audience.
Yeah, Peacock wasn't that great. Especially like I hate when they don't have like the 15 seconds back thing. Like if there was something I missed, I go to rewind, it would be like 30 to 40 seconds, and it'd be like a whole different scene. And but
There might be that big of a difference between when you pay for it and when you don't.
probably,
Because I have that feature.
probably.
It's funny they lock subtitles behind a paid
Fucking
subscription.
assholes! What a
Fucking-
bunch of
wow.
dicks.
That's so douchey.
But yeah, going into this movie, I thought I was not gonna like it because of things that I heard, and I actually ended up enjoying it. I thought
it was super accurate, to be quite honest with you.
Was it?
Like,
I have a lot of questions.
what I mean by accurate is like I see like the soldiers and stuff, like at least for the Alliance, and I'm like, wow, their fucking armor is super bulky when you see it in the game and Hearthstone. And then they did that in the movie. I was like, oh, maybe that's just an intentional.
Yeah, I think the company who did the Lord of the Rings armor and weapons did the
That makes
armor
sense.
and weapons for this. I think they did a really good job. Like the whole production was really good, but especially the props and
Yeah, the
and
practical
the
was
scenes
great.
and everything.
yeah. From what I read was even though they were CGI and everything like that, all the props that the orcs used were practical.
Yeah.
Oh,
Were they doing mocap or was it like
It was
full-
mocap.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, now we're in this age where mocap, because you can tell when CGI was first coming out and people were acting and it's just a fucking tennis ball on like a stick. There's a big difference between that and someone standing there holding a prop axe or a prop hammer, acting out with these people who are there. There's a big difference, and I think that I enjoyed this movie a lot. Like even the full scenes of like just the orcs talking to each other and like the little relationships you see in between them, like the guy who's got his lady pregnant and they're just sitting there, I don't know, being orcs,
goofing about, being
just
orcs,
fucking palling
making
around,
jokes.
yeah, just cracking jokes. I was like, oh, looks pretty good.
I think they could have done a little more of that on the human side. Like the humans side kind of felt like a little rushed. Like when Lothar's son died, I didn't care.
I didn't either.
I actually
Like
have
he
that
was
in
in
my
like
notes.
two
Talon
scenes
or
and
Talon
like,
or something.
I actually had in my notes that like I felt that there was no build up to that relationship for me to really care.
yeah.
Same with what the fuck was the young apprentice's name?
Khadgar.
Khadgar. How he was told believe in his friends, and I was like, what friends? We
Yeah,
haven't seen, like,
that scene felt really out of place when you went in the black box and met
Yeah.
the
Yeah, he
lady.
talked to
Like
Glenn
what was
Close.
that?
What the Glenn Close was in this movie for fucking
Oh,
like
yeah.
5 minutes.
and boy, can people travel fast in this fucking.
Well, I mean,
Movie.
that guy is
It's
Medivh was
magic.
just teleporting people.
Yeah, I guess true.
I mean, this movie, I think what it did really well is there was just little Easter eggs that if you know things about Warcraft, you're just like, oh, okay, oh shit, he just cast like fucking like Fireball or fucking Frost Nova or
The
something.
polymorph.
Polymorph was why I
Yeah.
was like, I turned him into a sheep. I fucking hate that spell in Hearthstone. Like I was like, and he's
Oh,
like,
that's
sorry,
his-
buddy. Yeah, because you change. It's a in Hearthstone and I'm sure in Warcraft, it's a spell where you just turn your enemy into a really weak fucking sheep. What the fuck's your dog doing?
Scratching her nose like an asshole.
She's just-
Arya, lay down.
She's just smashing her head
Lay-
into the
lay
fucking.
down.
She's like, fuck you, Dad.
I'd kick her out, but I know she's gonna be storming back in here in a minute. Lay down, Arya, fully. Don't half-ass it. But yeah, there's a sheep spell in it.
Yeah, polymorph.
And the little I thought they did a good job with like not making the fan service like too in your face. Like
No.
like in between scenes you had the little Murloc like
Yeah,
in
yeah,
the-
just traveling,
yeah.
and there's like a swamp, and you just hear like, whoa, 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 and you're like, that's the Murloc sound. They took it right out of the game.
and you know like one of the orcs yells the attack.
Yep.
like from the game. And
Just the little thing. Yeah.
That
Well,
was, I don't
yeah, I don't think that's from the game, but
Well, you know, before we get further into it, actually, Dave, could you, because you played the games, for people
Yeah.
that never played the Warcraft games, what type of games would you describe them to be like? What kind of playing style?
so Warcraft is a real-time strategy. It was one of the first real-time strategies
Yeah.
too, where you kind of you build a base and you gotta harvest resources and you make a little army and you just gotta go fight the little army.
Yeah.
And
but
You-
it's all happened, like you said, it's happening in real time. So like you can't just like slowly build your resources because your enemy's doing the same thing on the other side of the map, or if there's multiple ones. So like you have to keep building and then sending troops out and expanding and building defenses and offenses at the same time.
I think when I played those games as a kid, my strategy every time was to just turtle in my little house, just build tons of troops and just defend and let the game go on for like hours and hours, and then they would eventually run out of resources. Then I just go and demolish them. Like every map I'd play like that. I know it's probably not the best way to play, but that's how I did it.
Yeah, I mean, you just didn't know,
Yeah,
because again, this was like a super early game in this type of genre. I mean, a lot of games spawned from this. Like all the Command and Conquer games came after
yeah.
this. Like, Warcraft 2 ran so these other games could walk, or whatever the
I get
opposite
what
of
you're
that, the
saying.
right way that phrase is used.
And usually in these games, you were either, and I know they added other races later, but you would either be like the orcs or the humans.
The Alliance or the Horde, baby.
And what would you usually play?
So I think the movie's based on like the story from the first game. Like it's the first war, right? And it was just orcs versus humans.
Mhm.
And when I was a kid, I loved the orcs. I'd always
yeah.
play the orcs and the Horde. I liked the Forsaken and Warcraft 3, like always that. But when I got into World of Warcraft and I could be a dwarf, it was just dwarf from there on out.
I'm actually glad you brought the dwarfs up because
Magni Bronzebeard, my boy, was in this. He's the one that made that gun.
my biggest problem in this movie was, and I think it goes same with what you're saying, Dave.
Not enough gay and transgender
The CGI
people.
in this was
Diversity? Oh,
yes, exactly.
Okay.
The CGI in this was really, really good. By
Mhm.
the way, were there only 2 regular women in this world? Because it seemed like there was only 2 women in this world.
and like everybody was under 35. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, like back in those times, like people died at like 25 by usually just diarrhea.
But even the Great Wizard, when I saw they were going up the stairs,
Great Wizard, he's like, I just turned 30.
And I was like, oh, he's not an old guy.
No.
Like, I thought it was good. But what I was gonna say was, the CGI was so good, but the fact that the humans were completely live action kind of took it away a little bit.
mhm.
Like I feel like it just didn't mesh well. And then when we had the dwarves, looked fucking great, but then you had this person, like live action person standing next to him, and it just didn't fit. Like, why were the dwarves CGI? And then we saw the dark elves, and they looked like cosplayers. I don't. Why weren't they CGI? But then
Their ears were CGI and their eyes.
But the choices that they made, I felt like I think it would have done a little bit better if everything was just CGI.
Well,
yeah, but
to a point.
I think they kind of
Like motion.
they knew they
cap,
could have done
props.
that, but they wanted to do
I
live
think
action.
Yeah,
Warcraft.
they wanted to
point.
like make a real movie,
That
not
was
a
the point.
cartoon.
They wanted to make live action, yeah, because they could have done it easily because they already have all of that. They do cinematics, big cinematics for the Warcraft games.
They're always known for their like ahead of their time
Yeah,
cinematics and
crazy
those games
cinematics
too.
to the point where I think one of the cinematics, and was it Wrath of the Lich King when it first came out, like the ending of season 7 of Game of Thrones basically like almost parodies one of the like trailers for the expansion where it's just like they're like a whole army's coming through and then like a dragon's flying like over them. That one of the expansions for Warcraft had a very similar like trailer that they basically ripped off for Game of Thrones. But hey,
Yeah.
they needed all the help they could get.
Yes, they 100% did.
Yeah.
So what was I gonna say in reference to that? Like, do you think they could have pulled off practical effects if they tried? Like, seeing what they did in Lord of the Rings for the orcs. Do you think that? But these, I know from the game, they're like huge, massive.
Yeah,
I like the Lord of the Rings orcs a lot. But
Oh yeah, I love. them.
Warcraft did an excellent job.
Oh,
with
I
the
think they
orcs
did
in
great.
this. I think they were the best part of the movie.
But
yeah,
it-
because they wanted to have that like orcs are giant and imposing, and it's really hard to do that practically. And have you not? It's that uncanny valley. Like you look at it, and if it's practically like that, no human could actually look like that.
Yeah,
But they can kind of get away with it because it is CGI, and because the CGI is very good.
I think
especially
it's
the
just
chest
that
hair.
it just took it. Like by the end of the film, I was just like set with it. But at first, I was like, when every time they showed humans and then CGI characters, it just really took me out of it. But I did get used to it after a while. You can let her out. Hopefully, she'll just go downstairs.
Bye.
But the CGI was excellent. I just wish, I like more practical effects, but I get what you two are saying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Very good. Very good. Good characters. Good story. Sets it up for a sequel. The only thing, did they ever explain why that one orc lady almost looked like a human? Was
She
her
was
mom a
half
human?
Yeah,
they did say that?
Half human.
that was another thing that I thought didn't fit well. She did not. They definitely couldn't have any kissing scenes because
My
the
teeth will get in the way. No, they did like talk like, I would crush your bones if we mated. It's like, I kind of want to see that.
But I feel like they made her too sexy. Like they should
You
have.
can never make an orc too sexy. That's why she was practical and not
Everyone
CGI.
wanted to fuck her. Like everyone was eye fucking her constantly.
She wasn't. She was actually there. She wasn't
Ooh.
CGI.
But like I felt like that didn't fit as well. Like I would have believed it more if they got like more of a bulkier actress. Like
Gina Carano.
Yeah, like Gina Carano. As long as she didn't say any
Well, there
Nah,
wasn't a pandemic back
yeah,
then.
that's true, so she would have been fine.
No, she got no opinion on masks.
Or what's
at
her
that
name who
point.
plays Brianna Tarth? I think she would have played a good job. Like,
Gwendolyn Christie. Yeah, see, they didn't give women that looked like that roles back then.
Yeah.
That wasn't leading lady material until they normalized giant butch ladies in fucking Game of Thrones is like, this is a main character.
Yeah, and I felt like they were like, okay, let's get a lot of cleavage shots and everyone.
See your orc tits.
Let's see those orc
Do they
tits.
have tusks too?
And I just
Green
felt
nipples.
Green nipples. Yeah.
like everyone did great in it, but I felt like her acting just didn't fit. I felt like
I mean, she's got them
Yeah.
teeth.
like even when she was like trying to talk like an orc, it just didn't work.
I still fuck her.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
she was part of the whole, more on the human
Yeah.
side of
Yeah.
the story, and I think a lot of the human stuff I wasn't into. When they got to the human scenes, I was like, all right, let's get back to,
Yeah,
Yeah.
to
I-
Durotar, and
because it was
Yeah.
a lot of that guardian just passing out and being like,
I'm Medivh. I'm
Oh,
31. I'm
tired."
so old.
yeah, I don't know why they didn't just go with somebody older.
People don't live that long.
So I was confused by so Orgrim was like a young wizard. So somebody gets chosen to be the guardian and a family has to like give them up. Is that I was hoping I could get some sort of explanation on that.
I don't know. I think a
He-
lot of this story came from novels or graphic novels, because the story in the first game is just pretty much orcs are coming, fight them.
Yeah.
Like they destroyed. I don't want to.
Yeah, and most of these
But-
most of the characters like Anduin and Cat, like these aren't characters that they like make prominent until at least like the third one. They don't
Yeah.
really focus on stories with these characters.
So these are actual characters from the game.
Oh,
Yeah.
like Medivh, yeah, Archmage, Antonidas is another one. That was a great card.
because you
in my
get
opinion.
champions, right? Isn't that
In the third one, yeah, because it focuses on different people. So you play as like, you will play as like an Alliance main character, and then after a few missions, it'll switch to, oh, now you're focusing on like a Horde character, and it kind of shows you both sides of it, which is pretty much what they did with this movie.
The story really takes off in Warcraft 3, and the story is really good, and that's the whole lead up into World of Warcraft and that whole storyline. But I'm not sure where a lot of the lore comes from this movie, but
Are they from another world? Because that was the thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
So a different dimension, I guess you could say.
it was another world.
Yeah, exactly.
Um,
Yeah, they basically said that the orcs kind of destroyed their world because they sought using the Fel, which is magic that corrupts and destroys. Because warlocks in like Hearthstone, I know, they basically use magic that sucks souls out or damages themselves to do damage or to take control of stuff or to just, they have spells that just
demons
kill
and-
demons, summoning demons and stuff like that. So a lot of the stuff that they focus on is, and that's what they were doing in this, was they were that warlock Gul'dan was using this dark magic to take over the human world, using Fel to summon the Horde from other realms, other dimensions, or whatever you want to call it. But that's why you saw that little bit of like disdain between some of the clans in the orcs, because they realized that, oh, like this shit's gonna corrupt and destroy everything like it did in the last place we came from. So it's not gonna make any fucking difference.
Yeah, you could tell that he from like the beginning was kind of just like, shit, everything we're doing is a little fucked up, huh? Like we're
Mhm.
just putting people in cages and then killing them to open up this gate.
Sucking the souls
Sucking
right
the
out of them.
souls out of them. You talked about iconic characters. There was a trivia thing that I saw that said there was a recognizable character known for his ponytail and iconic iconic ass, baby.
Captain America.
Gormash Hellscream made a few
Gromash
appearances.
Hellscream.
He didn't say anything, but I guess he was like in the background as a nod.
I didn't notice him.
I didn't notice him either.
Yeah, there was a couple characters that had said that they were in there, but it was probably like. But I think that's the thing too.
You know who the baby was, right, Josh?
Well, the baby was like Goel or something. Like
The baby was Thrall.
Oh, the baby was Thrall.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Who's Thrall?
He's like the main. He's a chieftain for the Horde in
Yeah.
World of Warcraft, Warcraft 3. He's one of the playable characters in Hearthstone. He's like the main character for the Horde.
Is he like friendly with humans? Because it looks like he's about to be raised by humans.
Yeah, I think in his story, if you want me to get into it, but
Yeah,
I
you
think
can get into it, man.
he he gets raised by humans, and eventually humans enslave the orcs, and he's like a slave, and then he like breaks out and ends up leading the Horde and fighting the humans again.
Thrall's a shaman, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Humans are kind of the bad guys, and
They're both bad guys. That's what's
Yeah.
cool about those games. Like when you play even the first one, Orcs versus Humans, you pick the human campaign or the orc campaign, and you're getting, their side of the story as you're playing. And so, one side is good, one side's bad, depending on there's a lot of gray areas in that war.
War never changes.
well, speaking about gray areas, if we go through the movie quite a bit, it's like you said, Dave, there's a lot more human parts than orc parts, which I believe is probably because CGI is very expensive,
Mhm.
and that was really expensive CGI. They did not focus, because like the more I watch this, I learn orcs have like special codes of honor,
Yeah.
which I thought was cool. Like I kept thinking they were saying Corona,
No, it's like Magnora or something
the
like that.
Orcora.
Yeah, it's basically just like a trial by combat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The half orc girl I kept thinking of as Gamora and not
Gamora.
Yeah,
Yeah, she
Gamora,
looked like
exactly.
Gamora.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, though. Like there was like maybe like 3 orcs they focused on, maybe
Mhm.
4.
Yeah, just chieftains. They focused on Black Hand. They focused on
Played by Clancy Brown,
Okay.
Mr. Krabs.
The fuck? Dude, I don't watch kid shows. Jesus.
You know who Clancy Brown is? He was the villain in Highlander.
What's Highlander?
Oh my God, you're
I've-
fucking.
I've heard of it. I've never seen Highlander.
Oh, it's so good.
Sure.
Don't watch the second one though.
Oh, it's so Highlander's so good, but only watch the
No,
first
if
one.
you
Don't ever
watch the
any of
second, well,
sequels.
they go totally like it. Just there's 2 different cuts where the story is completely different. Like
Yeah.
it's insane.
Yeah, I mean, well, it was intentional because there is a lot of characters in Warcraft, and if they're only focusing on, like, say, the first game, they really only want to focus on representatives of the clans, the what was it, the Frostmourne clan or something like
The
that.
Frost Wolves.
Yeah.
Frost Wolves, sure, those are the ones that rode the wolves, and then the other whatever clan, couldn't tell you. And that was run by what? Blackhand, I think, was the guy. And then he got corrupted at the end or something. That was the guy who burned his hand or something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll say the humans weren't that shocked about orcs appearing in there. they were just like because when they first run into them, that's the first time they see them, right?
Right.
Yeah, but I mean, they also like ride fucking griffins and there's magic. So they'd be like, okay. What are those things?
I
Guess
don't
we
know.
gotta
These
kill it.
big giant green things were going around and stealing people.
Like they also have in their world they have trolls and
I also
I
Yeah.
think the Tauren are
Yeah, they rode
around,
by
and
little
elves.
Murloc things. Little like frog looking motherfuckers. They're like, so they're not like, oh, what are these bigger green things from these little green guys?
That first when they first met the orcs and that first fight scene was excellent though.
Oh,
Where
yeah.
they're throwing the horses around and
That was so awesome.
Oh, yeah.
I was like,
So
he
many horses
grabbed
got
the horse
killed.
by like the neck. I was like, throw the horse, throw the horse, throw the horse.
Do you think they had the motion cap people throw horses around?
Yes,
Yeah.
the motion cap. One person picked up a horse and threw it, and actually killed. people.
Nice.
Yeah, real horse. Wasn't a mocap horse.
Nope,
it was a
wasn't.
real horse.
No, I don't
They
think
used multiple
I
horses.
saw the Humane Society thing at the end of the credits. I don't think
Yeah.
it was I think that was a stuffed horse, but a real person that got hit.
Yeah. No, what they did, the Humane
A
Society,
real person? You mean
No,
like
the
somebody
Humane
in a
Society
Halloween horse
complained.
costume?
and what they did was they got a mattress. So when they threw the horse, it landed on the mattress.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. Stunt horse.
It was it was a stunt horse. Yes.
I've done this before.
Mr. Ed, yeah. He's like, I don't do TV sitcoms anymore. I'm a stunt man. I'm like Scott Atkins.
I'm gonna be in Warcraft. I heard the kids
I signed up for 4 movies.
And speaking about like really good scenes, because they did have good battle scenes in that second meeting, like the secret meeting they had with the orcs,
In like a little cliff area with Medivh
Yeah.
like up top and the
where some of the orcs were hiding underground.
yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool. But we didn't get like so is there a difference between green orcs and tan orcs?
Different clans, yeah.
I don't think that's in the games, like in the original first 3 games. I think they're all green, and then when they get corrupted by demons, I think they turn red in the games. But
okay.
like in the movie, it's supposed to be the green ones. I think are touched by the fel. That's what I thought.
Okay. That's why his son was green, because what happens at the beginning of the movie is they go through the portal and
They weren't supposed to bring a pregnant bitch.
nope.
Everyone knows that.
And then she poops the baby out. Honestly, for a second, I thought that Gul'dan was just going to throw the baby at the deer.
Fucking
I don't know why I
splatter.
thought that. I was like, oh, is this movie going to get real fucking cool or what?
So wait, what was his name?
The warlock guy, Gul'dan.
I kept calling him Gold Hand.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it.
Gold Hand. I don't
He's
know.
a good
Gul'dan.
villain. I like.
He was good, yeah.
He was good. I liked his animation style. Is he also? I assume
32, yeah.
He's also.
he's also
Under
32, but he's also in the game as well.
Oh,
Yeah, I tried to replay the first Warcraft leading up to this, so I would have some better knowledge. But it does not play well. That game
Yeah.
is tough to play now.
I remember even back then when I had played 2, I tried to go back to
Yeah.
1. I was like, this is not good compared.
You can't right click to move your
Yeah,
people. You
that-
have to click move and then move them. You can't drag to highlight multiple guys.
Nope. I
it's
think
tough
that
to
was
play.
you saying that
Yeah.
just gave me PTSD. So I'm pretty sure I'm like,
You
that
have
was.
to build roads and build your buildings on the road. But so I don't remember if Gul'dan was in the first game. He's definitely in some of them. The third one, I don't remember. If
I don't
he's in
think
the
he's.
second or
Yeah, I don't
not.
know if he's in the second one.
He's definitely in the third one.
Definitely in the third one.
So is he like? So he's obviously from a different type of clan because he seems to not have the same like code or
Yeah, he's just corrupted by that evil magic. That's
So-
all. He doesn't give a fuck. Similar to how Medivh got corrupted by it because he started, using it and studying it, and then because he got corrupted by that fel shit, he got taken over by that demon, which was it Illidan? Was that who
No,
he turned
the
into?
demon was Kil'jaeden, I think.
So I
Okay,
assume
okay.
that's like a boss or something in
Right. So I think how the lore goes is do you remember the people that Gul'dan sucked the souls out of in the beginning?
Yeah,
of
the
movie?
they kind of look
Avatar-looking
like
people.
Avatar people. Yeah.
The Draenei. So they're like these aliens that are, I forget why, but they're being chased by
Are
demons.
they in spacecraft?
Right. They're not in
Well,
spacecraft.
spacecraft's not a game, so
I mean, was it StarCraft?
Yeah. No, they're not in StarCraft. That's completely different
Completely different.
stories. But
Terrans and Zergs.
they're getting chased by demons. The demons want to kill them for some reason, and they land on the orc world, right? And so the demon decides to corrupt the orcs to try to kill the Draenei, and that's how Gul'dan gets corrupted. And something on Azeroth a long time ago, the demons got summoned or something. I think that's how Medivh ended up getting corrupted. And so it's all the demons kind of
Which
pulling the
would have
strings.
probably played out a little bit more if they did do a Warcraft 2.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
they'd probably get more into that.
I mean, because honestly, what I really didn't see coming was the Alliance not knowing that orc human person was told to kill the king so that she could take control over the
Which
horde.
I thought was kind of stupid because it just, who's going to trust her? How is this going to work? I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were just really. I honestly thought that they were setting that up for an immediate, her to do something immediately. You know what I mean? Oh, I got now Gul'dan trusts me, and then she just kills him, kind of thing. But that didn't happen.
Yeah, the ending seemed a little rushed. Or
Yeah.
forced
It seemed
or
like they were just
something.
we're getting another movie.
They were he's gonna die somehow. So
They were
let's
totally
do
when he's
this.
just hanging out of the portal. I'm like, He's gonna die.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
king has to die. He's got to go film Agent Carter.
Oh, no, Need for Speed.
Oh God,
Remember, he was in that too.
Jesus Christ.
But like, yeah, it did definitely. They were like, well, we're building up this half orc for some reason, so we got to make it that she plays both sides, which I thought was kind of like they took away everything we learned about this character, and they're just kind of like, she's kind of a slave again in her own right. The humans are just kind of using her. Like, now everyone fucking hates her.
Yeah,
Like,
I kind of thought that she was going to be used to bring the orcs and the humans together for this movie, which she kind of did. She was like a translator, you know what I mean? But now it's not that way anymore. Now she's just back with the orcs kind of thing. So it's like,
and they just stopped
Okay.
attacking too because they were just like, the king is dead. Well, everyone was gone, I guess, so that was, a thing. You brought her up, but I don't remember if you said, is she in the game? Are there halflings? Like,
I don't.
that character's
think
in
so.
Hearthstone. That character is a hero skin that I've unlocked.
Okay.
I had to double check because I was like, I'm pretty sure I've
But
seen that character.
I know.
is it because of the movie though?
No.
I know from what
There is
looking it up
lore. Yeah.
that in the games she's half orc, half Draenei, and not
Okay.
half human.
That's probably why she looks like that. She doesn't
Yeah.
look like a big fucking beefy orc like all of them do. So that would make more sense because it doesn't make sense that it would be half human, half orc because she already told like you can't fuck me. I'll fucking destroy
Yeah.
you.
So it, like there was a scene with Medivh and forget her name, Gamora.
Just say Gamora. Yeah.
Just saying.
That might have been hinting at that he was her dad.
I saw that. I
Like-
was like, is he Papa?
I don't know.
Papa Gamora.
Papa? It's fine. I can edit it out. It'll be good. Yeah, I they definitely, I think, totally hinted it that was going to be the case. But then I also was like, is Goldhand? Because Goldhand was like,
Gold member.
Gul'dan.
Gul'dan was very happy to like see her back, and that was the thing
Well,
too.
she killed the king.
Yeah, I think that's the only
That's
that
the only
seemed
reason.
a little ham-fisted too. Like, oh, you killed the king. You're
but
the
then
best.
also,
Let's
like,
go.
it seemed like nobody wants to follow.
I saw you
him,
kill a
and
lot
then-
of us,
Yeah.
but then you killed the king. So right on, sister. Orc power,
Yeah, they're like,
green power.
yeah, and I think also that final battle with Blackhand, is that his name?
Yep.
Went a little too quick. I don't think he would have been able to, especially since he had the ability of the fell. What was the human character's name?
Lothar.
Lothar would have been able to.
I thought that battle worked because in the first battle, Lothar was saying, you got to use your wit and your brains to beat them. You're not going to beat them because they're, in strength because they're stronger. So
Yeah,
like
he cut his
and
dick
then
off. So
you just
Well, I think it was because they just built up this hatred for each other,
yeah.
and then it
Yeah.
was like over quick.
Mhm.
yeah, I think they also wanted to show that, the guy, he wanted to get his revenge because that Blackhand character killed his son, who we don't give a fuck about because that guy got maybe like 27
We
words.
knew he was gonna
20
die.
to 30 words in the
they-
entire movie.
They did the typical thing where like they build up a son character, but he's barely in it, but it's always like, you gotta keep safe. Don't worry about me, Dad. And
Protect the king.
yeah,
I'll only die right in front of your eyes, Dodd. Yeah,
Ah.
so that didn't matter. But I did like that all this talk about like respecting traditions within the orcs actually led to something. Because like they're like, well, Gul'dan, you can't fucking use magic. You're supposed to just be brute force and
I like that you
Fucking
just
that
heard
dude.
like, and the voices did sound from what I saw in the game. We just heard a guy being like, "She's cheating."
work.
I think that was it.
Did one of them used to go, Gorg hungry, Gorg won't eat? I used to heard someone. I used to
They
know
had
Brendan
so
say that
many,
all the time.
dude. So it was Warcraft 2 was like the first game where I played it for a long time before realizing that every single unit has like a lot of lines, and you just keep clicking on them, and they'll keep saying new shit until they just get pissed off with you, and they'll start like talking shit to you. Except sheep, which if you click on them like 100 times, they just explode. And when I found that out, dude, that was what every map was. Like, let's find the sheep and blow them all up because they're just like, meh, meh.
So that was a nod when the guy gets turned into a sheep.
Yeah, also it's just polymorph is like one of the big spells for like mage. That's one of the bigger mage spells.
In that scene, I noticed that character said, "Open the gate," and it was very like focused on a bit. Is that like a quote from the game too, or was I just picking things?
That's just night stuff.
Oh, you were gonna still
But
going.
I liked when Duratan challenged Gul'dan, and Gul'dan's like all hunched over, and then like he takes his robe off and he stands up and it's like, oh shit, he's not old.
I had a note that said, "Is he just crouching for funsies?"
Yes.
Like
Yeah, absolutely. He was just crouching for fun.
he's like, "This is a lot of fun. We're just gonna do this."
He's on Medicaid, so he has to pretend like he has like fucking spinal issues.
Another good little bit I liked was during the secret meeting when Duratan's talking and he's getting translated and he's like talking in orc, and then like slowly zooms in on him, and then he just like it flips, he starts speaking English, but like you can still hear her translating for him, and like
she's speaking in the common, but to him he can't understand it, so it sounds like she's now speaking in a foreign language. And I did like that because when it changed perspectives, it'd be like
seamless.
He doesn't understand the common tongue, so like it sounds like she's speaking in tongues, but then when it switches to the human perspective, it's the other way around.
Do you think that was needed in this, like an orc language? Because they made that specifically for this movie. Like the orcs, you can correct me if I'm wrong, had their own language in the game, right?
No, they spoke English, but
in World of Warcraft, like Horde players, you can't talk to Alliance players. Like out in the world, if you meet someone and you like type something in the world to them, it'll come out as like gibberish or like the orc language.
Oh, I like that. That's
interesting. Yeah, that's really cool. Well,
I guess it just adds like, because they do speak English in the games, but I guess if it's from their perspective, that's what we would hear. So I like that you can't just speak to an Alliance character; it just comes across as fucking gibberish. Makes sense.
I had a question for you guys. Did you guys know who was going to direct this movie?
Yui Boll.
No, he actually tried to, and they told him to get the fuck out.
Yeah.
They were like,
Blizzard was like, we are not giving you the rights to make this movie.
Sam Raimi was 100% on board. He worked on it for 9 months. Like I even have, and I'm going to read it. So we'll see how much fun that's going to be. He, in an interview, it was asked, what happened with that? And he worked on it with Robert Rodat. So when you hear that name, that's it. But in an interview, he said him and Rodat was working on the script and it was taking a long time. I think they were this is him talking. He said, I think they were getting a little antsy at Legendary, the production company. Actually, what happened was even more complicated. So let me back up a little bit. First, they asked me if I wanted to make it. And I said, yes, I love World of Warcraft. I play it all the time, and I think it would be a great film. So he wrote this. I hate this. So I read a screenplay they'd had that was a little by the guys at WarCraft developer Blizzard, and it didn't quite work for me. I told them I wanted to make my own original story, which I don't think would have went well. Probably worse than this. So we pitched it to Legendary, and they accepted it. And we pitched it to Blizzard. They were hesitant, but they accepted it. Then Robert wrote the screenplay, and only once he was done, we realized that Blizzard had veto power, and they totally negated everything that they approved. Those reservations were that we don't approve this story, and we want to go in a different way. So because of that, Sam Raimi cut ties. He didn't want to do it, but they worked on it for 9 months, like writing the story. And when they went to them, they were just completely like, no, we're not going with this.
I would have liked to see a Sam Raimi Warcraft movie because I think his tone fits like the Warcraft games, because Warcraft it's a little tongue in cheek. Like there's jokes like the sheep blowing up, and like it's not taken super seriously.
This could have actually improved from some comedy in it. There was no comedy.
There was a little bit, I think it could have used a little more like lighthearted, like campy stuff.
And that's what Rami's known for. And I think we could have got because I think those battle shots would have been a lot cooler too, because he's really into well, I don't know if he'd be able to get away with it, but there'd be a lot of hammer splatting heads in that.
They did. There were several times I saw orcs crushing people's heads.
Oh yeah,
heads flying off.
Yeah,
I think the director did a good job with this movie. I like what he did.
I think he did a really good job, and I know in 2018 he said hopes for a sequel's probably not happening, but I think in 2020 Legendary did state that it's in production, that they're working on it.
Nice.
This director involvement, I doubt it, but I gotta say, everything I heard about this, and then when I finally saw it, it wasn't a bad movie.
No, I thought it was really good.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen a lot of fucking stinkers, and I think this one was very accurate to WarCraft. They, there was little things that could have been done better, maybe explained better. I think a lot of the stuff towards the end that they kind of finalized, they were like, oh, we're getting another movie. So I think they were like, we can just kind of softball some of these things and then pick it up later, kind of. But overall, I thought it was pretty well done.
Dave, as someone that's a big fan, what is one thing that you think they nailed and one thing they kind of fell flat on?
Well, easy. I think they nailed the orcs and they fell flat on the humans.
Yeah.
But a little more specifically, the writing could have been better, but I think they nailed the production value of it, the scenes and the set pieces and the props and the CGI. Even the acting was good. I think the writing, there was a little too much pushed into the story, they were trying to fit a little too much in there. They could have slowed down a bit on the human side, got rid of a few characters, and spent a little more time on some of the ones they kept.
Yeah, see, that's what I was saying. We only got 4 orcs, and then they were humans, and I was more interested in the orcs because also I thought the humans were a little too clean. The sets were a little too clean for medieval times, and where the orcs looked great, their camps looked great. I wanted more of what they do on a day-to-day, because it just seemed like they're just always going to war.
That's what they do.
Yeah, but I would like to see more of their culture, because they obviously had some sort of culture that they were all about. Again, going to the Pride, going to they have different ways of handling things. If you fail and you left your people behind and they died, but you ran away, you're supposed to let yourself be sacrificed.
Mm-hmm.
And again, the Corona, the Orcra, what they call that? Orcra?
Are you talking about the trial by combat thing?
Yeah.
It was like
Maknora
or something like that.
Makara.
Macarena.
That was again, they had, there's definitely more to the story of them. And I felt we just saw them in bunches, definitely the same. We saw the same female orc over and over again, just reused, a couple times. And, I just thought we could have used a little bit more.
Yeah.
More orc titties.
Yeah, I wish.
Those green
tusks
boobies
on them, green nipples and tusks.
Yeah. But, we didn't really go over the story very much. I don't think there's really too much to go over on that. It was kind of...
No, I mean, it follows a very, very typical WarCraft story of Horde versus Alliance, but it's showing both perspectives, so you kind of understand the motivation of each. You side with each a little bit, and then think certain antagonists within each side. Medivh was actually secretly helping the Horde because he was corrupted by a demon. And then, Gul'dan, his people are turning against him because he's getting corrupted by the Fel, and they're realizing it's going to destroy the Horde regardless of how many humans they kill.
Yeah.
So,
And I thought that Medivh thing, it was like, I thought that he was going to be the red herring, but they were just like, no, because it was kind of too obvious.
It was pretty
it
obvious.
was pretty obvious.
Especially when
I thought it was going to be like his little assistant guy.
well, his assistant even was
Not
like,
even Khadgar, the guy that
he used the Fel, and it's like, oh, so it's him. And then it's like, no, it can't be. That's the only thing that made me back up, because I was like, really? They're just going to hand us that?
I was wondering if you would pick up on that, because I think a lot of people that are familiar with the Warcraft lore know that Medivh was a bad guy.
yeah, he
This
does
said
get
Oh.
corrupted.
Summit, but like hearing you say that, it was pretty obvious right from the get-go that he used the Fel. He's the bad guy. But
Yeah, I kind of guessed that too, because when I was first introduced to Medivh, he was a good character, and it was a good card in Hearthstone, and then a couple expansions come out, and now it's like, oh, corrupted Medivh, and he does all this different stuff, and like utilizes like warlock type shit on top of mage shit. So like, oh, Medivh is a bad guy.
Ooh.
Yeah, so, yeah, I think they definitely, because I was a little confused at first, but as the story went along, I was like more having fun watching it. But they definitely were catering a bit more, which I guess is good, because we complain a lot about these adaptations not doing that,
Yeah.
catering more to the gamers. And because like I wouldn't have known that, but they were like, if you know Warcraft, you know this guy's a bad guy, so we're not even going to try to like.
Yeah.
But it would have been a nice little twist if they decided to change that up a little bit.
They could have done it a little better, for like, especially if they're trying to make a movie franchise, play it up a little bit for the people that aren't familiar with
Make him become
with the
evil
lore.
later, like
Yeah.
in a sequel or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, another thing I think they could have definitely done more is focus more on the dwarf characters,
They
or
look
even-
great.
yeah.
The CGI on them, they look fucking great.
or even more orc creations. Like he gave them a gun basically, and
Mhm.
nice nod to Evil Dead by calling it a boomstick.
I love that too.
yeah.
I wonder if that was like from the Sam Raimi
Like
skip.
they could have
Yeah.
made like
Script they
cannons. Like the orcs invent a lot. They have a lot of crazy
the dwarfs.
dwarfs. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not the orcs. They
Well,
could have done way more. Like that final battle, if they showed up with a bunch of like new.
Like helicopters.
yeah,
and stuff,
exactly,
yeah.
exactly.
Well,
Like
they kind of sidelined
zeppelins
a lot of
and shit. and
other creatures.
Yeah,
in
the no
this.
gnomes, no trolls.
They didn't show any Murlocs. Murlocs are supposed to be a big.
There was one Murloc in the.
Yeah, I know the
in-between
one
scene.
in just a fucking scene where they're just riding by and you just see them sitting in the swamp. Whoa! Like they give us a little bit of that. Like I want to meet Murgle, whatever the fucking main Murloc guy is.
But it seemed like the dwarves were heavily involved with the human side. You would have think
Yeah.
that they came to their aid or
So,
something.
Actually, in the first game, I think the dwarves are around, but they don't like. I think it's said in the movie too that they're not gonna help. They withdrew their help from the first orc invasion, and then in the second game, they end up coming, and you have dwarves and elves on your side trying to fight the orcs, who now have trolls and someone else, ogres or something. If you're like interested in the lore, I recommend you play in Warcraft 3, because that's
They
really
go really heavy into it.
yeah, that's really where the story gets good.
Yeah, it focuses less on the strategic gameplay and more on it keeps it, but it focuses more on individual character stories. So it definitely builds them up more, and it gives them more like, oh, these hero characters level up, they get new abilities and stuff. So yeah, it's a. I mean, I'd even play 2, but it probably doesn't play as well.
Well, there's books and stuff too. So
Leading up to this, I went and re-downloaded Warcraft 2 on one of the game services. It was like $5 or something, and there was like when I downloaded it was like you have the option to play with updated graphics, and like Warcraft 2 played excellent. I tried Warcraft 1 like for a couple hours, and I was like, I don't know if I can do this, and then booted up 2, and that felt really good to play.
Nice.
Yeah. This, as someone that's not familiar with the franchise, it did kind of pique my interest of like learning more about the
Mhm.
lore, because it was very interesting. Like This
There's a
world
lot to it.
a lot more than I thought it was.
It's like coming up on 20 years of
Wow.
in this franchise, and there's a lot. Like the wiki is a really good rabbit hole to fall down to like just keep hitting links. There's a lot.
Have you read
it's
the
good.
books or
No.
anything? No, not
No.
interested in that.
I don't think so.
There's so much.
There's a
There's
lot.
too much.
Before we get to our scores, is there anything in this movie you two would like to go over that we didn't discuss? I would like to say actually real quick, that golem looked fucking terrible.
Yeah, I hated that. I hated that. I wanted to see that so bad because like golems and shit like that are
It's like a warlock spell. You
Well,
you get
even
the-
yeah, like I mean, they're hard to summon in Hearthstone. Like you have to,
Yeah.
some of them you have to like, summon this 8/8 creature, but you have to, it costs 20 mana, but it comes down every time you take damage, or it costs 11 to summon, but the more cards you have in your hand, the cheaper it is, kind of thing. Like all of them have this very like unique prerequisite to summon it, and it's a big body, it's a big creature. And then, like, it just looked like shit.
Yeah, they didn't put a lot of effort into it. And even when they first showed him making it, like when they showed him with the clay, that section obviously was practical effects. And then when they zoomed out, the CGI version of it was awful. And then when he came to life, I'm like, oh, this is when the budget ran out.
Yeah, it's almost like they had like two different teams working on like the orc side and the human side. Like it was surprising how good the orcs looked, the CGI, and then switching to that golem, and it's like what happened?
Because I agree with you too, and I know you said the sets and stuff look good, but I felt like a lot of the costumes was a little too much.
No, those looked very game accurate.
Those were nods.
Like
yeah.
the human.
No, yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They looked a little cosplay. Even when he took the
That's
ring and was like,
intentional.
"Give this for the king's favor," and I was like, "That looks
the
like."
humans are all like super clean, and like
Yeah.
pauldrons are like giant like shoulder pads, and
Yeah, that was
you're
was
like,
correct.
so
You're like,
That
those
was
look
like-
stupid. It's like, no, those look accurate as fuck.
So those
dude.
were huge nods on
Yeah.
that one.
They look like that in the game, and well, at least in Hearthstone, you're like, why is their armor? They're normal looking humans, but their armor is giant. And then you see it in the movie, you're like, oh, they actually these crazy, they did it. They just it's
fucking
well,
did
it's
it.
all Lord of the Ring production team
Yeah.
did that. So
Weta, or
Weta.
WETA, I think.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that.
he
Weta,
already said
baby.
that.
I know
I
he
said
did.
that at the beginning.
I know you did, but I was saying I didn't know that before.
I
That's
also
what I meant.
texted you last night about that.
As soon as I
Wow.
saw that you were texting stuff about what you wanted to discuss, and I do that with Josh too. I don't.
When this
read
movie
it.
came out, I
So I wanna be
called you and
fresh.
told you that.
Yeah. He
All
had me
right,
on
guys.
speakerphone.
Well,
I
next
mean,
up, did you see this when it came out? in
No,
theaters?
I didn't. When this came out, it was the same thing. Like bad reviews, and I was like, "Oh, another video game movie. This is gonna suck." And I think I bought a bootleg copy at the gas station down the street from my house, and I was gonna watch it, and then I just never got around to it.
So this is the first time you've seen it.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Well, anything else that we missed that we didn't go over, Dave, Josh?
No, I think give it a shot.
Well,
It's a good video game movie.
well, you'll say that
Shut up. I'll say what I want.
when we
Whenever
get-
I fucking want to say it.
when Josh says whatever the fuck he wants.
No, I'm going to just say something different.
I hated it. Let's get to the scores, baby.
Righto. Yes, me lord. So let's do scores. Very nice. So first up, I mean, this is gonna be like, how cheesy is this movie? I mean, inherently, I would say any movie about orcs versus humans is cheesy. But when I really put it into perspective of the fucking cheese shit fuck movies we've seen before, I personally wouldn't score this very high for it being a cheesy movie, because I think it takes itself seriously for the story that it's trying to convey. Yeah, we've already talked about who gives a fuck about like Anduin Lothar's son. Like, fuck him. Get him out of here. I didn't need the little like, half orc, half human lady consoling him after his son died and like, oh, are they gonna kiss? Are her tusks gonna get in the way? Giving a beeger?
They even like try.
Is it
and
like
just,
braces?
Imagine your dick stuck on one of those fucking.
Oh! That's what I'm saying. Like braces.
My Prince Albert.
Yeah, and none of them are circumcised back then, so oof. Just go, oh, you pierced it. Your tusk. So I personally would say this probably like out of 10, I'd say this maybe like a 3 for me. I don't find this very cheesy. It takes the lore very, very seriously. The characters, it's a medieval horror war movie. Yeah,
it's a horror movie. Medieval horror movie.
It's a medieval horror movie.
Yeah.
Horrors. So I would say 3.5 out of 10, which is not very cheesy to me.
Would you like to go next, Dave?
Am I ranking this on cheesiness or how much I like?
Cheesiness.
Like
we're gonna go down
groaning type cheesy, like Jesus Christ, like following like cheesy tropes you've seen in movies, like usually established in like the 80s and 90s, like.
So a lower number is less cheesy.
Yeah.
So if it's high, you're like you fucking rolled your eyes at the whole movie kind of thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'd probably give it a 3 orc tusks out of.
Yeah, we're going with orc tusks.
3 orc
this,
tusks.
Yeah. So this
Out of
we're gonna go that
10 human breastplates.
Out of 10
out of 10 human breastplates. I agree with both of you. I think we're gonna go with 3 all around. I think if you were a different type of movie watcher, not a gamer or anything, that the cheesy factor in this would be way up.
Yeah.
Especially if you.
My parents would probably find this very fucking cheesy.
Like if you didn't like fantasy,
This is not Lord of the Rings level.
Right.
I will say that.
And you're obviously not listening to this podcast if you are not into this type of stuff. So
My parents begrudgingly listen. They're just like, I have no fucking clue what they're talking about.
What do you mean this is
But I
cheesy?
support
There was
my
a
son.
fucking griffin.
What's an orc?
What's an orc, precious?
But yeah, I'm gonna go with a 3 as well because it wasn't, it was pretty close to the game.
It was enjoyable. I liked it.
Yeah, very enjoyable. Okay, well that leads us into our next one, which how comparable is this to the video game? I'll just say that I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10 because it's very comparable. Like Dave said, it's trying to tell a rendition of the story of the first game. There's a lot of characters that if you know a little bit about WarCraft lore, I didn't play much. Like WarCraft 3 I played the least, and that's when they actually focused on the characters. So all the lore and people I recognize are from Hearthstone. And even then I recognized a lot of stuff from the games. So I would say they definitely didn't push the fan surfacey stuff too much, so you're just like, hey, it's that. But there are things like the polymorph. I was like, it's polymorph. It's a sheep.
Like it was definitely things you'd had to be like know them to pick up on them.
You definitely didn't pick up on the Murloc thing.
I didn't pick up on anything
because it was a 1 second thing where they're just riding by on horseback and you hear, and that's just what they sound like.
I think most of the locations in the movie I recognized as locations in World
Kirin
of Warcraft.
Tor,
Deadwind Pass,
Yep.
Blasted Lands,
Yep,
like all those places.
Yeah.
And they like there was a lot of fan service, but it wasn't in your face.
Yeah.
Yeah, they weren't doing it and then being like, you catch that?
It's funny too that you
get
mentioned that. I forgot to say that they started listing where they were in the beginning of the movie, but then they kind of dropped that towards the rest. Like they'd be like, we're in a new area and we're here. Then they'd have the title on it.
Yeah.
Dave, how would you rank this? How many orc tusks would you rank this for how comparable this is?
How many orc tusks out of human shields or whatever the fuck you said?
I would give this 8 human broadswords out of 9.
Just gonna change it
and
every
a
time
half.
now, huh?
8 out
Orc
of 9 and a
battle
half.
axes.
What fucking
Yeah.
scale is this?
That I think that averages out to a 9 out of 10.
I'm just gonna let him just.
Okay.
I
So he's
am
with me 9 out of 10.
Yeah. And I don't know much about the franchise.
Then you get no fucking
I learned.
choice.
I think me ranking this high because I was gonna rank this high, but I'm gonna go with a 7 because I'm going off of I just learned what a lot of the things were from the game today. from you guys. Like, so for me to be like, it's 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10. I don't know much about the franchise. I'm
Where's
just
the
going
dragons?
What'd you get? Yeah, well, you know what? There's no fucking dragons.
Why was there no White Walkers?
Because there's dragons, right? There's dragons.
There are.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 7. I'm gonna
There's also
stick
like
with-
pandas at some point
Yeah,
now.
yeah. I don't
Oh, no.
understand.
They're like
pandas.
there was
ninja
no-
pandas.
So there was no. Okay, 6.
No, like the pandas like just came out a couple years ago, or it's a new race or something.
It wasn't a
By
couple years
a couple,
ago. but
I mean
yeah.
like a decade.
So wait, and we don't want to dwell on too long. So what are these pandas? Are they
I don't-
panda
I guess-
people?
I-
Or are they
There's
just-
like it's like Jack Black. It's kung fu. panda.
yeah, pretty much.
Literally,
I guess they're a big part of the lore, but when they came out in the games, I had no idea they existed. And
and they're just like panda orc people.
No,
right?
they're
Not
just
like
panda
orc,
people.
but they're just
Panda
panda people.
yeah,
Yeah.
panda people.
Like exactly
Uh,
like
Pandarians.
Yeah, they eat bamboo.
from Pandaria.
That
It's a bit on the
really-
nose.
how lazy.
Not all of this stuff is like really well thought out.
Well, they're not like the
We're from
orcs are from-
Pandaria.
And that's one of the
Oh,
playable
man.
races, but there's also like, races that you interact with, like walrus people and all sorts of there's a lot of different
Did somebody
animal
just go to
peoples.
the zoo from Blizzard one day and was just like, panda people, walrus people,
people
The next
people.
expansion is lion people.
Koala
Oh
people.
my god.
No, crab people. That's what they're. Crab people. Crab.
Yeah. All right. So I don't know about the third one, but I think we should end on.
I think we should add the third one. I think especially I think Dave would be good at answering this. Like, I don't know. I could edit this out.
Was
but
the CGI orc characters well cast?
well, I mean, like, well, yeah, voice acting and
Okay.
you know stuff like
again,
that.
yeah. Well, what's the
So the question was,
Is this movie how well is this movie cast?
I think the orc casting was really good, but the human casting could have been a
Same.
little better.
Yeah. So probably 5 out of 10 for me.
yeah, I'll
I'd
go
give
with
it
that. The orc voices were great.
Yeah.
Clancy Brown, if you're familiar with his work, he does a lot of voice acting, and I think he was great. I didn't even know it was him
Like-
as Black Hand.
All the mocap was awesome.
Yeah.
Like Daniel Wu as Gul'dan, like him he was punched over. I saw some behind the scenes stuff,
Oh,
like
re-
with the staff, like doing all that
So
stuff.
he did the motion cap as well, because
Yep.
usually sometimes they either do both or one
Right.
or the other.
Yeah.
So that's amazing on that. And I think that is a good question because, like, a lot of times, like, especially with, like, and I'm going to say it again, Uncharted, like, the big thing that didn't work for me was the casting. And I think casting is very important if you're going to do
Tom
these
Holland was
adaptations.
perfect.
I think the humans could have used some older people.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's true.
Well, like, even the apprentice.
Well, your big archmages are like, I just turned 25 and can now rent a car.
wizard.
I'm an old wizard. I just turned 22.
Yeah, and like because he didn't look that much older than the apprentice
Right.
guardian, which they should have used somebody way younger for that character.
Maybe an actual teenager. And
Yeah.
they look the same age. And
Yeah. He's probably older.
And it's funny that you said there was literally, I think we saw one old guy and he was just next to like Gold Hand.
yeah, he was
And
one
just-
of the Kirin Tor or whatever, one of the
Yeah.
other wizards.
Oh yeah, that I was thinking more of like, which is I thought was actually also a really cool scene where I keep calling what's his name again? Gold Hand.
Gul'dan.
Gul'dan.
Not
It's just-
gold.
it's just talking to
gold
the-
Dan.
Gold
Talking
member.
to the other orc that betrayed his friend.
gold.
Gold. Which plot hole too. The other guy that kept like betraying the orcs, they kept letting him go home a lot pretty quickly. Like
Yeah.
but I thought it was really cool how he had like the old guy next to him and he was just slowly like killing him and like stealing his soul. I thought that was a really cool. I forgot to mention that. I really like that. But I thought this was casted well for orcs. I agree with Dave on that. The humans were just a little. The accents were a little off too. Like
Yeah, I
somehow-
think the guy who played Lothar is an actor in Vikings,
that's where I know him
and
from.
I think his like that Scandinavian accent was coming through sometimes, and I don't know, maybe just from knowing him from that I was
It's funny you
making
said
it
that
up,
because
but-
I was like does he have an accent or does he not have an accent? I don't remember. I just kept like being like, is he supposed to? Is that accidental, or is this like a WarCraft thing? But
I already gave my score.
Oh yeah, no. The final question.
What was you? You guys didn't say a score.
Oh, so we said 5. I agreed.
okay, you
agreed
five.
with you.
Yeah.
Because it's half and half.
I'm a trendsetter.
You're so cool, Josh.
So the last one is how. Oh, geez, I'm gonna knock this whole shit over. How good is this movie? Would you recommend it to people? I would say this movie is a solid 7.5 out of 10. I don't know. I would recommend it to everybody. But I think if you've ever played anything related to Warcraft or Hearthstone or World of Warcraft, you probably would find enjoyment in this. People I know that play the shit out of Warcraft saw it and they're like, yeah, pretty good. Not my favorite movie, but yeah, pretty good. So yeah, I'd say 7.5 out of 10. It's enjoyable. If you're looking for like not as much of a commitment as Lord of the Rings and you want something similar, yeah, this could suffice. This is only 2 hours. Just don't watch it on Peacock.
Agree with that. Dave, since you're our guest, I'll let you go before me on this one.
If I'm ranking it for my personal taste, I'd give it an 8 out of 10. But if I'm recommending it to someone else, probably a 6.5, because I like the Warcraft lore a lot. I guess if you're really into Warcraft, you've probably already seen this movie and don't need a recommendation. But to recommend it to, like my wife or someone that's not into it, I don't know if I, would be glowing about it to them.
Well,
honey, we gotta go see Warcraft.
It's coming back in the theaters.
So what would be the score for you personally?
Personally, an 8.
An 8?
8 orc tusks out of 11.5 human pauldrons.
Wow.
Which is probably
every
like
one
a
of
7.
them changes. It changes each time. Where the rating ends. But I guess the conversion rate of tusks to pauldrons. Yeah, it's like the metric system to like, yeah.
If Lord of the Rings is a 10 and what's a really bad fantasy movie is a 0 on the other end of the scale, I'd put this at a 7.
Let's see, what was a terrible one? The original Dungeons and Dragons movie?
Oh, yeah. If that's a 0, then this would be a 7.
This would be a 7?
Yeah.
So as someone that is not familiar with the franchise, I went in this with fresh eyes thinking it was going to be bad and one of those movies where I was going to feel exhausted. And you were saying that you wouldn't rate it highly to somebody that isn't into the franchise. Correct, Dave? That's what you were saying.
Right.
I'm actually going to say I'm giving this an 8 out of 10 because I like if you like Lord of the Rings, if you like high fantasy,
yeah.
I think you're gonna enjoy this.
Yeah.
I was a little bit on the edge of my seat. The battle scenes were fucking awesome. I greatly enjoyed this movie, and I was actually, and I don't feel this way at the end of a lot of movies we watch. I want a sequel. I want more. I will see this again. I
think some of the things that we mentioned about downsides to this movie, because we are a little familiar with Warcraft, were that it didn't focus on more characters. I think that's actually a plus for someone going into it fresh, because it only focuses on a few characters for each side.
Yeah.
So you only have to give a shit about this character, this character, this character, and then this character, this character. Then there's just all these random people that are going to die in the background, and that adds to the fight scene. So yeah, I think someone just, like you said, who likes high fantasy probably could enjoy this movie.
I had
but
fun.
It is more catered to someone that has some knowledge of Warcraft.
Like, I think it's been a while since I
Actually,
watched a movie
my
like
parents,
this.
my stepdad
fun.
probably would like
You
it
might
because
like
he
it.
played the shit out of Warcraft too back in the day, and StarCraft, and StarCraft's not relevant, but
I think I just liked more. It wasn't just orcs bad because of the monster, and we got to know a little bit more. Like, yeah, the writing could have been better. I agree with that, but the action scenes were fun. The CGI was fucking great, and I was kept interest the whole time. So yeah, I'm gonna give this an 8 out of 10. Yay! Now, for people that don't know, we are now on Letterboxd. Letterboxd is a review site where each time we do one of these video game adaptation movies, we will be leaving comment of what Josh and I and our guests would think of a review. We're going to be doing 1-sentence reviews. Josh, would you like to go first? If
Sure.
you can give this movie a 1-sentence review, what would it be?
A WarCraft fan's wet dream that also appeals to high fantasy fans as well, not familiar with the series.
That's good. I'm now afraid to give my own. You want me to
You go.
first,
I gotta think of one.
My review is going to be this movie has been out for a while since I saw it. I wouldn't listen to all the bad reviews you hear about this movie. Give it a chance. You might be surprised and end up loving it like I did, especially if you love high fantasy.
That was like 8 sentences.
I'm going to doctor it up a bit, of course.
I'll say it was better than I expected. The set pieces and CGI were great, but the writing could have used a little more work.
Okay.
Yeah. Good
I think
enough.
I'm going to change mine up a bit. Now that I say, because that does make sense. Like, like the, yeah, I'm going to switch mine around. I'm going to say actually my 1-sentence review. I should write these down before I do it, but Dave, that was a really good one. As someone
Mine
that
was
is,
really good too.
yours was really good. As someone not
Really
familiar
nice.
with the franchise, I found myself having a lot of fun watching this movie. Actually, no, I'll stick to what I said. Oh, I love this. All right. Well, Dave, we greatly appreciate you coming on the podcast.
Yeah,
I know,
I'm really glad that you left your newborn son out in the car seat outside. I'm sure he's fine. You left a window open in the car running with
yeah,
the
and
AC on.
you left him with a nip of whiskey.
It's unseasonably warm, so I didn't leave the car running. But thank you for having me. I like your show, and I'm glad to be on it.
Yeah,
I hope
thanks,
to be back
man.
next week
Uh-oh.
and the week after.
We're not even recording next week, I don't
The
think.
week
But
after
okay.
Yeah. Well, you can record with Aria.
He won't even be. He's going to be up in Maine.
Well, yeah, we're going to follow him. We're going to go with him.
So, Andrew, what are we watching next week?
Oh, it's me being asked this question.
Well, you just you seemed like you were hesitating.
No, I was going to
so.
I was going to say, well, Dave was supposed to be on an Elden Ring episode. If we do end up discussing the DLC, which will Josh probably taking a back seat again like he did with the other Elden Ring episode because you don't want to play it. I'd love to do a discussion if you'd like to come back for that.
But our
Dave.
second
Sure.
Elden Ring
Yeah.
discussion, I can have much more.
Yeah.
I can talk more about the
'Cause I
main
do
game
wanna-
because I didn't play it at that point,
Mhm.
and I only seen videos, and then now I've played the whole game and beaten it.
Yeah,
so.
it'll be good
Blah, blah,
to,
blah, blah,
it'll
blah.
be good to revisit. That's all, folks. It'd be really good to revisit that. But as for your question, Josh, we're gonna be watching Dynasty Warriors.
Oh God.
I'm a little bit familiar with this franchise. I
Yeah.
played a couple for PlayStation 2.
I got a couple of them for PlayStation 2.
I
Very repetitive.
if you're looking to watch this is a Netflix exclusive. I'm not even drunk.
Exclusive.
What is wrong with me? An exclusive movie. And you can check that on there for free.
Thank fuck.
But if there's anything else you'd like us to cover, coming up on episode 100 soon. So if there's anything that you'd like us to cover on our 100th episode, you can reach out to us at 8bitmoviereview.com. That's the number 8bitmoviereview.com. And you can also reach out to us on our Facebook and Instagram.
Or if you want to listen to our backlog of video game, movie, and video game reviews and discussions, you can go to our website at anchor.fm/8bitpod, where you can gain access to all of our streaming options, including Apple Podcasts and Spotify.
Ooh, and we're also on YouTube now.
Oh, the old YouTube.
The old YouTubey. But I'm Andrew Gonzalez.
And I'm just Josh.
Are you just Josh on YouTube?
I was going to say something else. I didn't feel like doing a voice.
Give you not even an orc name?
I'm Blackhand. Oh, Yoda. I'm an orc.
I am gold member.
I'm Gold Dan. Come to my gold shop. I like gold. I like gold. And